weird. Of course it is.
Huh.
Serious question. How do you feel about ghost guns? You mean the ones with 30 round clips? 30 round magazine clips? Is that the one you're talking about? In all seriousness, ghost guns is the stupidest thing anyone could have done. Manufacturing of your own firearm, as long as it does not conflict with the NFA, which I hate the NFA, the National Firearms Act, and how it outlaws certain designs of guns, is one of the stupidest things we've ever seen on this planet. But it exists, and we have to figure out how to deal with it. Like somebody 3D printing a gun versus someone like milling out and manufacturing a gun sounds like one is way harder, but they're like, what is the actual difference that you're looking at between the two things? Like, there, I contend that there really isn't that big a difference that you're looking at. What is the actual difference? And with most 3D printing, you have to reinforce a good amount of the receiver anyway with metal parts. So it's not like it's just, oh, I printed a gun. Like, that doesn't really happen. You have to print like specific parts and then install other parts that you have to purchase. So it's not like people aren't just going, I want crime, and they just like hit a button and it spits out a crime like tool. That's not how any of this ever works. Blaine, they're saying in regard to assembling your gun piece by piece here, custom made. The ATF already requires the purchase of the receiver if you're assembling parts to occur through an FFL or a federal firearms licensee. So you have to go to an FFL and fill out the paperwork for the background check and everything for the receiver. You have to declare what you're going to build the receiver out of or into, usually, if you're going to do a handgun, depending on your state. But that's a state related thing. Federally, you just would buy a receiver, but you can build your own receiver. They request that you serialize it so that you can track it and everything. But that's not really important. The real question is if they, it's already annoying enough that they require one of the parts to go through a federal license anytime, because you can crack your frame and now you have to like do the paperwork to get another gun. Whereas like if you crack your barrel, your handguard, your trigger pack breaks, like if anything else breaks, you can just replace it, no problem. But if you get any sort of crack or problem with your frame, it's like a whole new set of paperwork, and it's super annoying and a pain in the ass. The ghost gun stuff is bull. Nothing scarier than a black ghost gun. It's just another weird, dumb term that they can use. Because at this, like, how many ghost guns are used in crime? Like, if there was a significant number of weapons that were being produced by 3D printers in, like, criminal enterprise, we would be hearing about it all the time. You know where a ghost gun, quote unquote, like a handmade gun, was used? To assassinate a prime minister in a country where they aren't allowed normal guns. That's like, that's where you get ghost guns that you should be like concerned about. When you've told people they can't get anything else, they turn to like freaking Fallout 3 duct taping whatever they can together. But at the end of the day, none of this is the tool's fault. That's the biggest issue with so much of the gun debate and the gun craze, is everybody wants to blame the tool rather than the actual problem. Like, if you want to cut gun-related deaths in America in half, you will do something about the suicidality of kids. You will do something about parents that don't keep their gun in a appropriate safe. And when I say appropriate, I mean there are some badass safes out there that no kid's going to be able to get into super easily, that will still let you get to your gun really quickly. that like there are steps you can take to protect people, and by people I mean kids who are looking to hurt themselves, um, that we could do that would cut down the rate of people getting, killed or injured by guns drastically before we ever even think about trying to add another stupid law on the books that isn't going to actually help with any of the problems. Then if you want to get into the crime stats, like we just have to like police better, put police where the crimes are happening more consistently and more fervently, and you're going to have a better outcome down the road because crime doesn't tend to move from where it is. And the guns used in crime are typically purchased legally, quote unquote, either by somebody who buys it before they have a criminal record, or somebody who doesn't have a criminal record in the gang that can then hand it to somebody who does, which is a straw purchase, which if they're found out, that's a felony as well. So now you have another crime that you can tackle them with. But to find that felony, you need to find that original offense. It doesn't, there's not a lot to do once somebody has the gun to stop the crime from occurring at that point, when you've got a criminal with a gun that intends to use it. And there's so many legal avenues, even in the best wet dream of the most ardent gun control advocate, there are still going to be ways for criminals to get guns, and you can't really stop that. So you have to increase the policing where the crime is, and then also do something about what is causing people to not want to live anymore, right? And this is, there's like this greater issue with humanity that we have where there's a whole group of people that they hate something about themselves or their situation or something around that to the point where they would rather not exist on this planet anymore. And whatever we can find for like what the solutions are, like the best solution at the time, we got to move towards that. We got to figure out what those solutions are, because those are going to be the easiest ways of cutting down on actual like deaths related to firearms that we don't want to happen. But Whoopi Goldberg told me the Armalite Rifle 15 literally disintegrates people.
Oh man, I wish it did.
The biggest issue with any conversation around firearms is the amount of ignorance on both sides. There are so many people in my life that I have completely turned around by simply taking them to a place, giving them full instruction, and letting them pull the trigger. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's not this wild monster that we need to stop. It's just a tool. And we need to figure out how to keep the people, well trained, or, the ones that are going to do bad things from getting it. We need to solve these problems instead. And on the other side, it's, I should have everything. I should have a nuke. And it's like let's be fair. The Supreme Court has held that bear arms means you have to be able to bear those arms. So if you solo can keep a nuke working and launch it and all that, I guess you could argue that that's an arm. But like the bearing of the arms is important, according to the Supreme Court, when it comes to what we're allowed to keep, or what the government's allowed to let us have.
You have to safely maintain it.
Exactly. But there's a whole host of issues. Like, there's so many laws on the books. I can almost promise you that I would say as high as 80% of people who own at least 2 firearms have committed some sort of gross misdemeanor or felony just in the way that they've handled those things. Like, you could literally put 2 guns in your safe and an ATF agent could be like, I don't know, that's constructive SBR. Boom, NFA felony. And it's like that's what we do. We create these laws that make people who just have a safe with some guns in it and they just go to the range, here or there, those people turn into felons, and nothing really happens with criminals or suicide. Guy in Montana selling non-working rifles as showpieces, only had to buy a specific piece to make it work at any hardware store. ATF went after him, and he won the court case. Yep. Disabled weapons have been showpieces that are sold for a very long time. No problem there. Enforce laws on the books. Yeah. But I want less laws on the books. There's too many laws on the books as it is. The number of laws make it so it's very easy for people to become criminals when they're not doing anything. Blue is low and got tuckered. Oh, he's all tuckered out from the fight. Fathers in the homes of kids and healthy families are some of the best deterrents to a life of crime statistically. And when you don't have a father in the home, when you don't have a healthy immediate family, a group of people, a community around them that can be the parent. Like I had a good family growing up, and I also had a extended community that all had the right to discipline me if they caught me doing something I shouldn't have been doing. So definitely there. You take an anti-gunners to ranges and converted probably 95%. Yeah, it's weird when you get that one that like they're not about it. They're like, no, that was terrifying. I will never do that again. And you're like, the heck's wrong? And you gave him like a 22, like a big, like a Ruger 1022 kind of thing. That's just like a fun plinker. And you're like, the heck's wrong with you? Are you okay? You're broken. I'm sorry. You're not doing okay. You're not anti-gun, but if I said I am, will you take me to a gun range? Oh, I hate guns. I don't want to shoot them.
You can't talk about that and not bring up the classic.
Oh yeah.
Polygon can't understand guns are fun.
Sotomayor better kick it soon or we'll never get tactical McNukes. Wasn't there a kid who basically irradiated a shed in his backyard with nuclear components? Yes, the what is his name? The Boy Scout nuke or something. I forget what the joke is, but yeah, basically like he was doing a crafts project. He was Eagle Scout or something like that, and he ended up building a straight up nuclear hazard in his shed. Blowing his radios the old fashioned way. Yeah, by a group of people who at any time could pull the button or pull the switch. Make me grab the switch, whatever, something. I don't remember. Oh, this looks good. Polygon can't understand guns are fun. I feel like I played this game and it's a ton of fun.
When I was a kid, I remember there was a gun in a family member's house. It was above the stove, kept near a
oh, they did it.
pot.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Jericho AFK. My name is Jericho, and today we've got hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. I'm excited to get
I have
this.
played this one.
I've only done this, where I've loaded the indoor range, and as you can see, well, we are very much inside an indoor range.
Did I know this because, like every kid, I snooped. I used to hold it and would sometimes put my finger on the trigger, running how much
Thank you,
pressure it
Dempsey.
would take to pull it.
So I'm just going to knock this thing back to about 12 feet and forget to plug in my headset. So this is what I mean by a realistic gun model. As you can see, we are in a gun range, but we have a realistic model with, we've got wear and tear, some scratches on there, as well as the strap holders. What am I going to call those?
I'm actually a little annoyed that the sling mount wiggles. They don't usually wiggle. Unless it's like an old ass, like, beat to crap, like, Marines gun, probably.
Look at this.
Is the little pistol mag going in? Do they dip their straight edges in rain barrels to rust the blades and beat them on the curb?
Never loaded, and I've never thought to ask.
Hey, they did
I
it.
don't like guns in my middle age. I never have. I think they're fun in video games and in fantasy settings, but the few times I've gone to a range, I've
Charge it.
felt a deep sense of unease.
Yeah.
Hey, it doesn't matter. So we moved that back to 28 feet because I'm going to show you can use the iron sight just by grabbing it and looking down the sight. It does work. Taking it off, swapping it for a
Little aim point.
scope. Now the scope, obviously,
Oh no, it's actually magnified. Okay.
This is a machine
Yep.
I'm holding that has been precision crafted to do damage to other physical objects.
You know, sometimes I look at my chainsaw and I'm like, you know, this is an object designed to do damage to other physical objects.
That's true. That's right.
Middle-aged boy, how old are you, Polygon Cook?
It's like
I
37.
don't have a problem with
Oh my goodness.
target shooting or hunting, and of course the human condition makes things like war inevitable,
Human
but
condition.
in terms of my day-to-day life,
Is this somebody reading the Polygon article, or is this actually like the
This
Polygon
is their playthrough.
Oh,
This is
they're
like the video. I assume this is like their video review.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
someone
I
who
assume the
lives
music
in
wasn't there.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
No, it has to
But
be
A gun
after
in
the
home
fact.
makes me feel less safe,
Yeah.
not more.
And then we're gonna take it off safety.
Oh, that's
All right, I
adorable.
guess we have single fire, and
This
then
little
we're
bit.
gonna make sure that paddle or whatever, I don't know what that is, make sure it's in there, and then I'm gonna...
It's called ping pong paddle. Just call it a ping pong paddle. Everybody in the military is like, high five the ping pong paddle. It's okay.
just shoot.
I also know that in some circles that's considered a radical stance. I never realized how little I understood how guns work when it comes to their actual physical components until I played this demo. I spent more time
can't
than I
do
would have
it.
thought was possible just trying to figure out how to get the assault rifle to fire. And I get that even the words assault rifle are political.
Yeah, you think? You could just say rifle. Are you assaulting someone with it? Like that? It's such a meaningless modifier, like assault rifle. It's like, are you assaulting someone? No. Then it's not an assault rifle. But I guess we can blame video game lingo on that. Like, oh, I want the assault category. Like, you kind of understand what it means now because it's become such a zeitgeist, but it is such a stupid thing to say. It's just a small arm. Like,
It's a long gun, it's a rifle, it's
hey, he said
whatever.
long gun. Hey, that's the legal federal definition of the AR is long gun.
That's
Very
sounds
good.
about right to me.
Yeah. The NPC had a moment of clarity.
It works. I fumbled with it. I didn't know where the pieces went. I still don't know what the little fiddly bit on the side did. When you get rid of the magazine or the clip or whatever it's called,
You had it right the first time. You don't have to pretend like you didn't get it right.
I'm sure people will correct me in the comments. It can still fire once you have that bullet in there.
Yeah. It's in the chamber. That's why when you
That's how-
clear a
that's how a
gun, you
gun
drop
works.
the mag and rack it back.
So, you know, the scope obviously works. You're probably like, hey, full auto, do it!
Like he just left the
I
rear
mean,
side
I
off.
don't even have a sight. Why did I look down the sight?
It scared the shit out of me when this happened in the game. The audio was up a little bit too loud for it to be comfortable. So
Oh, no.
As I'm sitting here trying to connect things and pulling and pushing on things and pumping the trigger to try to figure out the magical array of things that
Ugh.
will make it fire.
Having worked at a gun range, anytime somebody aims a little bit at the ceiling, I'm always like, God damn it. Because, like, these are all baffles, but to make it look nice, they always have some sort of composite over the top of them that you keep having to replace. And it's just such a pain in the ass.
Is that because people shoot it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People shoot it. That, like... and that's where like I'm like the worst part about guns is gun people. It's like anything, right? Like the worst part of anime are anime fans. The worst part of guns are gun fans. Sometimes you find a crew that you have fun with and it's always all good, but then you run into that guy that's like, yeah, I was a SEAL and I can do blah, blah, and then you watch this SEAL grab a gun and just go pop 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 and he just starts shooting the ceiling because he's climbing like a moron. It's like, what the hell? Like, yeah, no, you're a SEAL at the zoo. Blaine's wearing his NRA hat right now. Fuck the NRA. What have they done for you? Give you more laws? The NRA only exists because of the fear of more gun laws. So as long as more laws are always being introduced and people are voting on new laws, they are able to make more money on you. God, I hate them. Hope Blaine doesn't have those cuck hats. No, I don't. We had a vehicle that we got with an NRA sticker on it. I sold it. Got rid of that thing. Nobody needs that.
Right.
And it actually went off. It felt like the gun fired, even with just the small amount of haptic feedback.
I don't think it did.
I'm gonna grab a handgun though. We've got ourselves. What is
This
this?
is a TT?
5.7? I don't know. I don't play
It's a Tokarov. That's a weird gun to have in this game.
anything but Counter-Strike. Okay. We should be good. I wonder if I have to take this off safety. I don't know.
It was loud enough to make my ears ring, and I found it scary.
Gun union
A
with
gun
fees.
model of this quote-unquote
Exactly.
realistically isn't fun. I'm not enjoying this.
So, I mean, I think that's really awesome. The fact that this is a realistic simulation of weapons, pretty cool. Indoor shooting range, awesome. Just, you miss the heft. You don't get the heft of the weapon. Kind of takes you out.
You got to
a
put
little bit.
weights on your
Interested to see if
controllers.
somebody doesn't build a plastic gun model where you can just physically, put your controllers in there and rest it across your chest, kind of like an airsoft weapon would be. That could be.
Yeah, there you go.
Well.
The game is called Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades, and it's an early access game on Steam. It's built as a sort of VR.
I love how you just
sandbox, and
accidentally
it's
opened
successful.
it.
Yeah, he like
It's-
knocks it. He's like, oh shit.
It's interesting to get a chance to quote-unquote play with these things, but from my point of view, I'm not sure if this is a place I really want to spend a lot of time.
Beep, beep, beep. Oh, it's explosive. Interesting. I was expecting that one to be a
Smoke.
smoke. Yeah.
I love that video.
I'm so glad you shared that. That was hilarious. Or no,
Gemini apologizes.
After that amazing rant, I'm willing to admit I was wrong. You don't have pansy PNW hands, nor are you. Glad we were able to clear that up. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I will catch you all next time. Comp by.